Director Zeitlin, will you take the roll, please?
Councilmember Toombs,
Present.
Allen, Benedict, Druffel, Glover, Mendez, Porterfield, Roten, Sledge, Suara, Syracuse, Bircher, Young. You have a quorum.
All right, we'll start with the consent agenda. I'll read the items that are on consent. If there's something that needs to come off, if you could raise your hand. Items on the consent agenda, Resolution 2021-1145, 1146, 1149, 1153, 1154, 1155, 1156, 1157, 1159, 1160, Bill 2021-871, 873, 874, 878, and 879. Is there anything? Councilwoman Allen?
Yes, I just have some questions on RS 2021-1157, 1159, and 1160.
So those will come off of consent. Any other items need to come off of consent?
57, 59, and 60?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, I'll read the captions of the items that are on consent. Resolution 2021-1145, Toombs, Allen, and Hancock approves an in-kind grant from the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee to the Mayor's Office for David Gardner and Associates to help Nashville civic leaders develop recommendations of feasible climate actions within operating and capital budget constraints. Resolution 2021-1146, Toombs appropriates $80,000 from the juvenile court to the Fine Design, a nonprofit organization selected to receive Community Partnership Fund grants. Resolution 2021-1149, Toombs, Van Rees, and Welsh approves an American Rescue Plan grant from the National Endowment for the Arts to the Metro Nashville Arts Commission to promote arts grants to organizations and individuals. Resolution 2021-1153, Toombs and Gamble approves the Edward Breen Memorial Justice Assistance Grant from the U.S. Department of Justice to the Metro Nashville Police Department for specialized training and equipment to ensure personnel maintain needed certifications for criminal investigation and crime reduction initiatives. Resolution 2021-1154, Toombs, Gamble, and Welsh approves a coronavirus emergency supplemental funding grant from the Tennessee Department of Finance and Administration to the Metro Nashville Police Department's Internet Crimes Against Children Unit to utilize funding to prevent, prepare for, and respond to the coronavirus. Resolution 2021-1155, Toombs, Taylor, Suara, and Welsh approves a grant from the Tennessee Department of Health to the Metro Board of Health for the Healthy Start Home Visiting Program to improve outcomes for eligible families who are part of at-risk communities. Resolution 2021-1156, Toombs, Taylor, Allen, Suara, and Welsh approves a grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to the Metro Social Services Commission to fund staffing of the Homeless Management Information System. Bill 2021-871, Toombs, Welsh, Suara, and Porterfield establishes a program for assistance to low-income elderly residents of the Metro government for the fiscal year 2021-2022. Bill 2021-873, Young, Toombs, Murphy, and Nash authorizes the acquisition of right-of-way easements, drainage easements, temporary construction easements, and property rights for use in public projects of Metro government for purpose of the Department of Transportation and Multimodal Infrastructure, Licton Bridge, Pike Bridge replacement. Bill 2021-874, O'Connell, Toombs, Murphy, and Nash authorizes the conditional abandonment of a portion of Alley 371, approving the acquisition of an interest, real property, and improvements thereon comprising a new alley, and the granting of an easement of that new alley in connection with the development of a project in Nashville. Bill 2021-878, Toombs, Murphy, and Nash approves a participation agreement between the Metro Department of Water and Sewerage Services and Regent Homes LLC to provide public sewer service improvements for Regent's proposed development, as well as other existing properties in the area.
Sorry.
Is there anything else that needs to come off of consent?
Mr.
Can I get a second? It's been properly moved and second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Resolution 2021-1140, sorry. 2021-1147, Toombs provides the issuance and sale of water and sewer revenue bonds in an aggregate principal amount of not to exceed $500 million. Can I get a motion? Is there a second? Second. Been properly moved and seconded. Discussion? I'm going to do Mendez, Allen, and Councilman Glover. Did you raise your hand? Councilman Mendez?
Thanks. I guess I wonder if somebody from finance could tell us what this resolution does.
Okay. Oh, there you go. Okay. Ms. Bosch, you're recognized.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Michelle Bosch. I am the Metropolitan Treasurer. The resolution before you today is to authorize new money for the Water Department to help fund capital improvement plan projects that are upcoming. It'll also help fund an upsize that we're looking to do to the commercial paper program.
So this one pays off the existing water department commercial paper, and that's what the $500 million is going to be used for?
No, that's the next one. This 1147 strictly just new money to cover expected expenses that we are due to incur in the next 6 years.
So between the two of them, the next one is going to, among other things, pay off the commercial paper line, and so that will be available for capital improvement projects, and then this $500 million is for spending above and beyond that?
No, that's also, so the capital improvement plan that the Water and Sewer Department has as related to the consent decree sums up to about $1.3 billion in debt that we're expected to spend over the next 6 years. And so the two resolutions before you are partially to help fund that.
So I'm confused. So the other one is going to pay down the commercial paper to zero?
Yes.
And so the question I was trying to ask was, so going forward, the water department will have its commercial paper line available for capital spending as well as this additional $500 million in this resolution?
Correct.
All right, thanks. And is this one negotiated fee or was it bid?
Sale. It's not a competitive, it's a negotiated sale.
And what's that cost for the negotiated sale?
With the underwriter discount, it's about $2.6 million.
All right, and then I just have one other question on this one, Chair. For Mr. Oldham, I see him back there.
Good evening.
Thanks. God, we really have to do something about the sound in this room with the feedback from that microphone. It's really just intolerable. I apologize to you back there with that microphone. So, Mr. Oldham, I've got the same question that I've had on every other bond issuance over the last 6 years. The loan documents match up with what or the bond documents rather match up with what we're being told?
They do.
All right, and then I know it's been a topic of conversation that I've heard, and I think there's a slightly different circumstance with this bond issuance from previous ones in that I think your firm is doing other work for Metro right now other than the bond work. And I just want to know that y'all have considered, can you still hear me? I can't tell.
I can.
Yeah. I just want to know whether it's been considered, whether it's a conflict of interest and what conclusion y'all have reached on that.
Yeah. And so, as long as I can remember, which is 25 years, we've been engaged by the Metropolitan Department of Law from time to time to do a variety of things. There have been pension-related filings with the IRS. There have been help with IRS audits. There have been sort of election law advice, a variety of things at the moment. And we're in talks with the Metropolitan Department of Law to talk about some sort of capital structuring sort of things unrelated to water and sewer. I have never thought it a conflict to represent the same client on two different things. That's just inherently not a conflict. So we're completely comfortable with our role and very appreciative of the different things we get asked to do from time to time.
All right, and I apologize, I guess in previous years, I haven't realized that there was other work going on at the same time as the bond work. And as I understand it, the capital structure work that y'all are doing now relates to a potential Titan Stadium deal and the racetrack?
Yeah, certainly things that I'm not prepared to speak on tonight, but yeah.
So yes, those two deals?
Sure.
All right. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to follow up on Councilmember Mendez's questions, I think this is Mrs. Bosch I'm asking this one of. To be sure that I understand, when we pay off the commercial paper, then we'll be starting back over again, and we'll have some kind of limit on the commercial paper that Metro Water is subject to. What is that limit now?
Hi, this is Michelle Bosch. Yes, you are correct. Right now, we have a limit of $283 million.
And is that the only issue that Metro Water Services can do, or are there sort of two different ones and they total something else?
That's the total of the two separate commercial paper programs.
283 million.
Yes.
Okay, so that 500 million would be authorized bond issue that we could sell to, again, pay off commercial paper, so we could start that process over again when we maxed out. Is that correct?
That is correct as it relates to Resolution 2021-1148.
Thank you. Okay. And then another question is, it mentioned that the maximum interest rate was 7.25%, which seems astronomically high given that it's nothing for just about everything else.
It does. It's just a regulatory requirement.
That's a regulatory requirement. Okay, great. Thank you. That's all my questions on this one.
Councilman Glover.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. So I guess I'm going to stay in the same vein there on the interest rate. The 7.25%, you're right, is absolutely astronomical. Where is the interest rate? Because maybe I missed it in the analysis, but where is the interest rate, and what interest rate are we anticipating paying?
So we have two transactions here. We have the new money that's going to pay back the commercial paper and the bond proceeds that are going to help fund some construction that already started. That's a 30-year debt. We're expecting that to be a 2.88. I'm sorry, 2.94. The refunding, which is refinancing 2013 debt, is going to be around 2.73, and that's 20-year debt. So overall, it should be about 2.88 total.
And the refunding, what is that interest rate now on the amount we're refunding?
That's a good question. I don't have that in front of me, but
Well,
I can
it
send
is
that
a
to
good
you.
question because we have a rule that says unless we're saving X percent, we can't refund like that.
Right.
So I would like to know.
Oh, of course. What you're saving is 13%.
Okay, all right. So we are saving 13% by refunding, and overall, if you mix the two interest rates, about 2.88 is where we're going to land.
That's right.
All right, thank you, Chair.
Any additional discussion on Resolution 2021-1147? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Resolution 2021-1148, Toombs, supplement substitute resolution number, Resolution 2010-1442, shall authorize the issuance, sale, and payment of water and sewer revenue bonds in an aggregate principal amount of not to exceed $780 million, and authorizes the use of available funds of the Metro's Water and Sewer Department to defease Metro government's remaining outstanding subordinate lien water and sewer revenue refunding bonds. Can I get a motion? Been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Councilman Mendez.
Thanks. I think this one's for Ms. Bosch. For the other refinancings that we've done of bonds or early payoffs, the savings has been accomplished through a lower rate while keeping the same term on all the bonds. Is this similar where no bond terms are being extended and we're getting the savings just from rate?
Yes, that's correct. We're keeping the same structure. It's the 2013 debt was originally issued for 30 years. So now this debt will only go up to 2042, and it'll be level debt, 10-year callable, traditional structure.
Now I can't hear.
Ms. Bosch, can you step up closer to the microphone? So we couldn't
Sorry.
hear you?
Yes, that's correct. We are issuing mirror image of what was originally issued in 2013. It's not going to extend the debt. It's only going to provide savings of about $31 million present value for the 20-year term.
All right, thank you. I do want to mention for people who are watching, the bond refinancings that happened after the economic downturn of 2008 accomplished the savings by pushing out maturity dates mostly, and some by reducing rate. And all the bond refinancings that have happened during this term have kept the same term. So we haven't been shoving debt obligations out into the future. We've just been reducing payments by reducing interest rate. And that's really fantastic. And I appreciate the finance department's work in being able to do that. Thank you.
Any additional discussion on Resolution 2021-1148? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Resolution 2021-1150, Gamble, Johnston, and Toombs appropriates $4,745,500 in American Rescue Plan Act funds to the Nashville Fire Department to be used for light fleet vehicles and equipment. Can I get a motion? It's been properly moved and seconded. Discussion, Councilman Mendez.
Thanks. I'm all in favor of this. I do have a late filed amendment in the package that tomorrow I'll have to ask to suspend the rules. And it adds just a whereas. It's on page 3 of the amendments package. The grant materials attached to this resolution talk about money for both the fire department and the police department. And the resolution just talks about money for the fire department. And upon questioning why that was, I was told that the grant did request funds for both, but the awarded grant was just for the fire department. And so the late filed amendment I'm going to ask to add tomorrow just adds a whereas to make it clear that I'm getting
Councilman Mendez,
hand signals from
is
Mr.
that
Jameson.
in addition? Because I have you having a late amendment on the next one, 1151.
Well, all right. Well, remember I said that for the next one. I'm fine.
Councilman Glover.
Sorry, Chair, my computer's not working. So, Chief Swan, please. So rather than assuming anything, some of this equipment, I'm hopeful it's because you've got more personnel that's coming in as we're able to build up your workforce in the fire department. Is that what some of this is being used for, or is that what all of this is being used for?
Thank you, Director Chief Will Swan, Nashville Fire and Office of Emergency Management. Well, basically, this is just going to replace our current fleet that we have, our light fleet. As you guys know, we have the oldest light fleet that's in the infrastructure. And so this won't take in consideration any new staffing. This will just put us in a better situation to be able to respond properly and be in a better status. So when you look at the 61 vehicles, it's just going to totally replace our current fleet that's dated. and then also the 50 cardiac monitors. This will be able to, our monitors are actually up for, to be renewed. Getting these new monitors are state-of-the-art. We'll be able to do more of a telecommunication along with some other things when we start talking about COVID, where they are actually, with the ER doctors, be able to communicate with them, where you actually look and see the help identify problems with the patient. So it's just putting us more where we need to be able to do our jobs more efficient. Also, when we look at our the trailers we're asking for, this will put us, as you know, and this will tie into a new staffing, Councilman Glover. Our current training center just won't accommodate when it start talking about restrooms and showers, especially when we start talking about a diverse department. This will help alleviate the issue of social distancing. We'll be able to use those mobile units for COVID, and not just for our department for training, but also when we're out on the scene and we have big incidents that we're there for a long period of time. So this package that's been presented to you tonight of the $4.7 million, again, this does absolutely nothing but put us in a position that we should be in anyway. So we definitely look for your support and appreciate that.
So then I'm just going to use an example of fast cars.
Right.
So all the fast cars that we've had for going on, about 100 years now, those will be gone, and this will replace all of those fast cars where you'll have the proper equipment and able to roll out with the personnel.
Absolutely. As you know, we're 10 years
Yeah.
old vehicles
Yeah.
and high mileage. And tying this, again, it's about COVID. It allows us to respond with minimum people for our medical calls, especially downtown, as Councilman Glover is referring to, and other areas too, with high density populated areas. But yes, this will replace all of our light fleet. And so again, we're in the makings of also talking to General Services, our fleet, Velvet and Stacy Wall, where we're going to be looking at hopefully having a reserve backup as well. We just can no longer operate in a department as busy as we are. And as you guys know, as the city is growing, we have to grow as well. So we definitely appreciate everybody's support with our staffing. But we're improving our staffing, but we also have to have the equipment to do the job. So that's what this will tie into.
Thank you, Director, for the clarification. Thank you, Chair.
Any additional discussion on Resolution 2021-1150? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Resolution 2021-1151, Toombs and Gamble, approves a port security grant from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security to the Metro Office of Emergency Management for equipment to enhance current land-based and maritime response capabilities. Can I get a motion?
Move.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Councilman Mendez, here's your amendment.
I'd like to move my amendment.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Are we leaning on your previous explanation?
Yeah, it's just a clarifying amendment to describe a discrepancy between the grant application and the actual grant.
Any additional discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. It's been properly moved and seconded to recommend approval of the resolution as amended. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Resolution 2021-1152, Johnston and Gamble appropriates $3,148,980 in American Recovery Plan Act funds from the COVID American Rescue Plan to the Office of Family Safety to address increased demand for therapy and services for victims of abuse, human trafficking, and interpersonal violence. Can I get a motion? It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Resolution 2021-1157, Toombs, Taylor and Welsh, approves an assignment and assumption grant agreement amendment from Safe Haven Family Shelter in the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to the Metro Social Services Department of the Continuum of Care Coordinated Entry Grant for support services and administrative costs to strengthen and improve the effectiveness of the program. Can I get a motion? It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Councilwoman Allen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a question about why Safe Haven is not fulfilling this, and does Metro Social Services do they need or have additional staff to take on these responsibilities?
Hello, my name is Abigail Dowell. I'm the Assistant Director for the Metro Homeless Impact Division of Metro Social Services, and we hold the coordinated entry lead in our office. This was originally a grant that Safe Haven took on because there wasn't capacity in the community elsewhere to do it. At the time, Metro Social Services had just started working on coordinated entry, so Safe Haven stepped up to fulfill that role for the community. And as the coordinated entry process has grown, our staffing has grown, it just makes more sense for it to come to our office because we were already doing a lot of the supervision of the work of the grant, and it just works well with the work that we're doing.
Aye.
So moved.
Your mic is out, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Councilwoman Allen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is great. I'm excited we're getting money because we desperately need to fix our intersections and make them safer for pedestrians. But I'm just wondering if somebody can tell me what the connection is to COVID and how we justified that.
Mr. Jameson?
Is this a Mr. Fields question?
Okay. Mr. Fields, you're recognized.
My name is Billy Fields from the Department of Transportation. I'm not sure I can specifically speak to the COVID issue specifically. I can speak to the intersections and that sort of thing that's being done. I think what's happened is there's been a lot of money that's put out that could go across lots of various parts of government. And I suspect it as safety and those sort of things, what this would be addressing under the COVID. So I believe there's probably money been set aside for that. I apologize. I can get you more detail. Today, what we're asking you to do is to approve the application. And then we could certainly get you additional information.
That'd be great. And then the other question would be, have those intersections been identified specifically, and is that information you could provide before tomorrow?
I certainly can.
Awesome.
It has been, the application includes Dixon and Pike at Hart Lane, intersection improvements, reconstructing span wire and wooden poles and so forth. Then at Dix Road and Lucille Street, and then Rosa Parks Boulevard at Hume Street, and then finally Rosa Parks Boulevard at Taylor Street. All are aimed at pedestrian enhancements to try to improve safety.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Councilwoman Porterfield.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I may direct my question to the speaker, could we get clarity on how those intersections were chosen?
I apologize. I was not a part of those particular discussions. And I hate to speak out of turn, I can certainly get those for you. But it's probably best I just don't go down that route. But I'm confident they were chosen for specific reasons, or they wouldn't have been in that particular grant.
Thank you. And one additional question, is this time-sensitive legislation?
Actually, it will go into, assuming you approve it, it's going to go into effect immediately. So I think we'd like to move forward with it. And assuming if we get the contract, then it'll obviously have to come back for the acceptance, I believe.
Thank you.
Any additional discussion on Resolution 2021-1158? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Resolution 2021-1159, Toombs authorizes the Metro Department of Law to compromise and settle the personal injury claim of Christy Copeland against the Metro government in the amount of $193,000. Can I get a motion? Been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Councilwoman Allen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Is there someone from Public Works that can speak to how we have reacted? This is someone tripping on a sidewalk that I probably run over once a week, and I've noticed that high spot but haven't reported it. But do we have that equipment that just shaves off high spots, and do we know if we fixed it since we got this really high judgment on this one? Huge.
Mr. Honeysucker?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon. John Honeysucker. Councilor, could you repeat that on that section of the question you was?
So this is a very large settlement for a woman who tripped on a sidewalk that I have stepped over many times and thought, oh, heck, we ought to fix this. Do we have, I mean, I have seen places on the Vanderbilt campus where they just file it down when you've got, a difference in elevation. Number one, do we have that equipment? And number two, do we know if we fixed that particular sidewalk since this incident happened?
You can answer the equipment part. I can answer the. As for the equipment part, I think is Jeff Hammonds? I'm going to have Jeff Hammonds, who oversees the sidewalks at NDOT, come up and speak on that, please.
Thank you.
On the equipment-wise.
Thank you, Council Lady. We do have access to that equipment. We do shave those from time to time just to even up slight undulations in sidewalk elevation. That is fairly restricted. We can only shave about 1/4 of an inch, maybe 1/2 of an inch, but we can't take too much, the top layer off of that concrete without compromising the integrity of it. But we do have that, and we do that from time to time.
And then the second question was, do we know if that spot has been fixed?
That sidewalk has been repaired. Correct.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
Any additional discussion on Resolution 2021-1159? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Resolution 2021-1160, Toombs authorizes the Metro Department of Law to compromise and settle the property damage claim of the Waste Management River Hills Recycling Center against Metro government in an amount of $45,173.35. Can I get a motion? It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Councilwoman Allen?
Thank you. This, just another question here on, it sounds to me like our guy drove into their wall. I'm just wondering why we had to have a lawsuit to settle that as opposed to just, we cover damages when we drive into people's property. Is that just how it works, or?
Sorry.
This is Alex Dickerson with Metro Legal. It doesn't look like this made it to a lawsuit. It looks like it was just settled as a claim.
Any additional discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Moving on to bills on second reading, Bill 2021-870, Toombs and Gamble approves a documentary film agreement between Metro Government and Eureka Entertainment, LLC. Can I get a motion? Been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Bill 2021-877, Toombs, Nash and Welch approves a contract between the Department of Water and Sewerage Services and Lightwave Renewables, LLC for the design, construction, operation, management, and administration services related to photovoltaic solar facilities located at Central Wastewater Treatment Plant, Whites Creek Wastewater Treatment Plant, and Alejandro Water Treatment Plant. Can I get a motion? It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, did you have? Okay, sorry. Councilman Glover?
Just, if I could, I'd like to understand the cost justification of what was spent on the solar versus what the savings would be, and kind of understanding the up to 10%, if I remember correctly in the analysis, of what it may save us in the power.
John Barnett, Metro Water. Can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
I'm kind of wanting a cost analysis of what we spent on all this solar, and I think the maximum savings was going to be around 10%, somewhere in that range. I don't think it starts out quite that high, but maybe we'll escalate to that amount. Trying to understand the cost justification of how much we spent to do all of this solar versus what the savings are there actual savings that we'll actually see versus the cost.
Okay. So as far as the spending portion of it, we are not putting any capital upfront cost into the solar. We're leasing the equipment. We're using all of the electricity behind the grid. So at the properties, these are 3 of our large plants. We use a lot of electricity. That usage will be offset from what we pull from NES from the solar. Typically, we analyzed how much we pay per kilowatt hour. And when you look at what the solar will provide, that amount of kilowatts hours versus what is offset, there's a net savings of a few cents in the beginning. There's no escalation on the price. NES could escalate the price of electricity over time. So the savings isn't exact, it's an estimate. So over time, what do we come up with? So the escalation over the 30-year time frame could save us anywhere from $1 million all the way up to 10 million, I believe it was.
All right, and if I remember correctly, if we don't hit those kind of numbers as far as savings, and we're exceeding the cost on what the lease is versus the savings, then was it a 30 or a 90-day out clause in this, if I remember correctly? Maybe.
Yes, I believe it's a 90-day clause.
Okay, 90 day. That's all right. Thank you, Chair.
Any additional discussion on Bill 2021-877? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. And I believe that brings us to the end of the agenda. Have I overlooked anything? All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.